Hey guys, here's a oldie but goodie. This we actually done a video on once already, but we had issues with it. This is the one some of you might remember. Some of you probably haven't seen part one, but it had obviously picked up used off the marketplace. That's how we usually get them. And this one we couldn't get it to run. Well, it runs. It's got, you know, fire and all that would run, but didn't want to stay running, and the cylinder was real tight. Well, we thought it was a cylinder at first was real tight, but it ended up being the coil was loose and was up against the flywheel, not letting it spin over. So we done the adjustment on the coil and got it to where it was right. I believe we put a new fuel filter in it, fuel lines on it. Still had the carb. We checked the carb, make the top, make sure the screen was free. But this one has been used and abused. If you've seen the first video, you'd seen how dirty it was, like underneath the covers, both sides, and then here it was just caked with old sawdust, chain bar oil. You know, it was just like packed. And this one you can actually see this thing's been used and abused. You can see here it's from the heat from the muffler going against the side of that plastic case. And because on these, this muffler style here, instead of coming out the front, it's actually on the exit for the exhaust is actually on the back side, so it sets this way and your exhaust just blows to the side, which led to all that plastic being burnt right here. So she's definitely seen some usage and got to messing with it, and did happen to notice something else. Had it all apart sitting down here. We was going to get another carburetor for it, and this is one of the other ones that just kind of got set aside. And if I can get you guys down in there to show you this one, I'm just curious if we can get it running. I'm not going to try to sell it, and I'll show you why. These saws, they do not sell good enough to drop the money into this that it needs. See if I can get you in there without blinding the light out. You can kind of see that's the piston. If I can get you in there, it is scarred up, the piston and the ring both. If it'll focus this old camera. Kinda. Yeah, it's about the best I can get it. But you can see the lines. That's all scarring. I first seen it, I just thought it was like dirt and grime, but wiped it off up towards the top of the piston right there. It is dirt and grime, but a lot of that, it's all scarring. See if I can get the ring around here where you can see it. But so it's no better. There's the top of your piston and the ring. You guys can see, you can yeah, it's definitely wouldn't hurt to throw a new piston and ring in it. But the crazy thing is unless the front side of the jug is ate up, I don't know, but I can't get you in there to see it, but looking around in there, the walls have hardly any marks whatsoever on them. They look good and smooth, so I don't know if it's just the front side right here that's scarred up, but I don't know honestly. But so what we're going to do is, I had another project that we was messing with that has a carb that we can throw on this. Oh, get that out of the way. It was actually another, it's a 33 cc. This one's a 38 cc. Close enough for me to try. And they're both, if I pronounce it right, somebody got on me for it because I always called them Poulan, because that's what I always heard growing up, but apparently it's called like Poulan. But so whatever works for you there, bro. But anyway, I got a new plug for it. Here's the old carb. This is the one that was on it when we had it in part one. And So that's the original carb. It's a, they call them Walbros or whatever. This other one is just a, you know, China knockoff. But it's the same thing. It's off that other one, which was a Poulan, it's a model pt2 33cc. So it's pretty much the same design. You just got to hook the throttle linkage. Like on this one, it hooks at the bottom right here to pull it. And this one is, let me see if I got it right. One of we'll figure it out. It's all hooks at a different location is what it was. One was up high and one was down low for it to pull. So that's the only real difference, I believe. But I'll try to get it on there, and we'll go from there. I had to track down, some of the screws were missing, but I finally, the top was off. It's been sitting down here in the basement with no top on it, but covered up, but no top on it. And the muffler was off of it. I had to find the muffler for it, the bolts, etc., etc., etc. But I'm going to get the muffler. The muffler is, it won't pop out, but the muffler is gutted. So it's just free flow. There's nothing in there restricting it. It just has the baffles, the tops, these fronts pop right out. So we popped the front out, took all the crap out of it, opened it up, and so it just has, it's just open. It just comes out these two holes right here. Still blows to the side. I was at one time going to open the front down here at the bottom, and we're just going to drill it out and pack these two full of JB welds so it blows out the front instead of out the sides. But I still might if it runs halfway decent, but you know, that piston's pretty beat up at piston and ring, so I'm not having a lot of faith in it. So, but if it, you know, I might try it just to see how it works out. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, see, they just pop off. It separates right over. Because this one, when I took it off, I actually stuck a long screwdriver through here and smacked it, and it popped apart, and then took everything out. And it just slides right back together. These two screws go in. It holds, you know, holds it onto the saw itself. So I might still try that. I don't know. Pack them full with JB weld. Drill this one out and let it just flow straight out the front bottom of the muffler. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm going to throw this together. It's pretty basic how they go. Nothing fancy by any means. Just it's kind of like plug and play. It's all like right there. So I don't have to worry about changing the lines. Like I mentioned, we replaced it as soon as we got the saw. But like I said, this saw has been ran really hard, and it's from the sticker on it's from, says it was manufactured in 02. So it's been beat on. But we'll give it a shot and see if we can get it to run. If not, there's some really good parts on it, and for what I gave for it, the case that it came in was worth more than I gave for all of it. So I'm definitely not hurt. So I'll get all this back together and we'll take a look at it. Alright, so the carb swap didn't go as planned, but the internals were the same. So this is the new one here. So we just done a kind of like spur of the moment gasket swap. You know, swapped out the internals, make sure we could blow through everything. And this one would not stay unless the choke had to be fully engaged, like so, and then it would not release. It's just where the lever mechanism is just too much of a difference, so you couldn't get it released to get it opened up. So we just pulled everything apart, done a gasket swap, made sure all the ports we could blow through them. So hopefully that'll help. We'll see, but it's buttoned up and ready to go, and we just want to have the top on it when we go to start it, and get the bar and the chain back on it, and the plug. This is the plug that was in it. You see the difference between like where the washer is, the space between them, and the new one that's in it is, you know, it's a big old gap. That's why we can't run the top on it for now. So that's why the top won't be on it while we're trying to get it to fire up. But so we'll see. That's it. It's together. It's the same. It's a Poulan 220 Pro 38cc, and so we'll get it back together, get some fuel and oil in it, and see what happens. Well, here we are. I've been out here fighting with this thing for probably close to an hour, and it's a no-go, man. This thing is pretty rough. It's getting to where all the pulling on it's getting to where it's getting really hard to pull over. Got to hit a couple times. It was just enough to run some a small shot of starting fluid out of it. So this one, that's a shame too. This one is the Poulan 220 Pro 38cc. I don't know if you watch the first video, we had it running for a second. It's the one that was blowing a bunch of smoke, and so I don't know. Technically it's not worth. If you was trying to sell this to make money off of it, obviously you couldn't sell it like this unless you was parting it out on like Fleabay or something like that. You know, you can make some money off of it parting it out, but if it was something you was wanting to sell as a running unit, this thing honestly needs a full rebuild. I mean, it's the cylinders the pistons all scarred up, the rings scarred up. I mean, it has some issues, and it's obvious that you can't see it from here really, but the muffler where it comes out the side, I mean, this thing's been through some times. I wish it had ran, but I guess right now it's just not in the cards. So it's either hang on to it, and as stuff comes along, we might be able to find something that's like busted plastics and be able to use the plastic, or you know, something with a bag coil, or you know, whatever have you, or something that's just trash but the pistons are good. You know, it has a good piston ring in it we can throw in it, just get a gasket, but we'll see as time goes. But as far as I'm concerned right now, it's definitely a total fail. But that's a shame. But you know, it is an 02, so this thing's 21 years old, and it's definitely seen better days. But this is also the one, the first video, if you've seen it when we had the plastics off of it and everything, it was just like caked full of, just packed in there with sawdust that was, you know, caked with 2-cycle oil, the whole thing, both sides. I'm pretty sure this is the one, if you watch the other video when we took this cover off, all up around the clutch assembly and everything. I mean, it was just caked. Or someone got it and just totally abused it and didn't take care of it. But money wise, we didn't get hurt on it, because this one is one of them I got dirt cheap because it didn't run, but it had a case with it, and that was the main purchase for it, was for the case. But it was hoping we'd get it, and just needed something stupid like, you know, fuel lines or a little carburetor work or something like that. But I don't know, maybe sometime in the future we'll make a video of it. It's if I had to do a rebuild on it, I'd definitely lose money trying to sell it, but maybe we'll do a rebuild on it sometime, like maybe over the winter or something like that, just to be doing it, just to get it running. I don't know, we'll have to see how it goes. But total fail, man. I was hoping for a better outcome, but thanks for watching. We got a couple more to work on.